I'm getting close to the finish line on my Pro Street 1967 GTO multi-groups build for the Blue Ox Model Shop Street Machine group build, Woody's Rock and Roll on Wheels group build, Lucas C's 67 GTO group build, and I blew the deadline on NYS Modeling's Pro Street group build. But he said, don't worry, get it done. I've been doing a popular kit bash of the ill-fitting AMT MPC 67 GTO with the AMT 67 Chevelle. Let's see some of the details that I've included and hope you can add them to your next project. So when it came time to detailing the chassis of my Pro Street 67 GTO, I felt like it needed, the coilovers in the back. And so the axle is pinned, so it's not going to move and it locates well, but I do have this gap that's right in here and right in there. And so what to do about it, the one way you can do it is, if you can find them, you can get the Mr. Model shock set, and you get all of these little machined pieces, some metal springs, and a nice little fret with photo etch. I guess those are for the brackets, which is cool. And I think I got these for about $10 plus shipping. I think it's going to take a lot of work to get these to fit in the space, and I think I'm going to just save these for another project and show you how you can make your own in less than 5 minutes. So let's do that. So all you really need is some aluminum tubing. This is K&S of the 1/16 of an inch size, and then another stick of 3/32 inch size, and if you notice, they do go together. You'll also need beading wire. This is available at most Hobby Lobbies, and I use this all the time for making my pins. I talk about how to pin parts together. I use that. We'll be using that for this project. You'll need some sandpaper. This is 320 grit. And then it helps to have some old polishing papers. I got some 32 and some 8. So we'll just put those over there. You'll need your hobby knife, and you just kind of go at it. First thing I do is I clean the tubing with the 8000 grit. That makes it shiny. And you want this edge to be cleaned up as well, because once you cut small pieces, it actually makes it harder to clean both ends. And I'll show you kind of how this works. So to cut it, it's real simple. You just take your hobby knife and roll it carefully back and forth. You want to keep it straight, and bing, there it is. So now you have a little tiny piece. Set that aside. Don't lose it. If you want, you can take your 320, give it a little scrub down. Next up, you want your other tubing. And we're gonna this is the hard part. You wanna do just a very fine sliver. And this one you gotta go slow and easy. Same technique. Rolling it back and forth. Stay in the groove. And there it is. You get that little piece right there. And so if you've done your work, this side is okay. The other side will need to be cleaned up. So you go back to your other piece of tubing, insert it on there, and clean away. adjust it. Don't lose that piece. Now we need another piece. We're back to the 3/32. This one's going to be a little bit easier to cut. It's a little bit longer. And again, you kind of just look at real shocks to see what you kind of need it to look like. And so we're going to cut one right about there. I put a little mark there. Here we go. You kind of got to watch that piece that'll go flying, and then you got to cut another one, and that's no fun. Okay, and now we have the start of a little shock absorber. Save this stuff. Next, you're going to go back to your tubing and grab your beading wire. Don't be stingy with it. I mean, it's cheap, and there's more at Hobby Lobby. You got a lot of it. And so what I do is you just start wrapping it. And I try to wrap it tight, and I count it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be plenty. And I want it to be as squished up as possible. Now, some people wrap wire around screws or something like that. I like to wrap it tight, and I'll show you the technique to open it up next. Let's snip it off. Keep it on that. You don't lose it. So now I've removed it, and we're going to snip off these ends. And this technique can be used to make all kinds of springs. And then the easy part is take Mr. Hobby Knife and use that to open it back up. And we're going to just spin it. And that's how all the coils stay the same size. And if you have to trim a coil after doing this, again, you just use the old sprue cutters, not your good sprue cutters, your old ones. And then you got a spring. And then all you do is assemble this. Put that on. Slide your spring on. And you got a little, this can be a strut, or you can just adjust your spring to come down some to be a coilover. And we'll just slide this in there, and then you'll have your little shock for your Street GTO. And after you make another one, all you do is fit them in. And there they are in all their glory. And then you have the satisfaction that you made them and didn't buy them. So in one of the previous videos, we were assembling the chassis, step 3 of the Chevelle, and it has this rear seat delete piece that goes back here. And as illustrated, it has a kind of giant Chevy bow tie in the back of it that's molded in. And in the previous video, we showed deleting on that because that doesn't really make a lot of sense to put it in a GTO. And then it looked a little plain. Also, on step 4, the door panels of the Chevelle replicate some form of aluminum beaded race car type door panels. And well, that might be cool in a 1991 Pro Street Chevelle. I kind of wanted more GTO here too. In a previous video, I also showed how to make decals on an inkjet printer. Here is what the plan was all along. I made a GTO emblem that's simply decal, and I also made door panel patterns that mimic the stock 67 GTO panels. So my plan was to smooth all this stuff out on the plastic parts, apply the decals, and it would give the illusion that it has more GTO-like stuff in it. Let's see how that came out. So here's the painted and flocked chassis, and there you can see the GTO decal, and that makes it more GTO-like. And here are the finished door panels. And as you can see, the custom decal definitely adds some detail to the plain panels. And in addition to that, I added the window cranks, the door release, and the emblem from the Model Car Garage detail set. I scratch built a little armrest, and it has a piece of chrome tape, and this is also the chrome tape. This is 64th inch chrome tape. I cannot find it anymore. If you know of a source, please let me know. Two-toned the top edge, and then this bottom carpet piece is merely a piece of evergreen that I painted and put some flocking on to match the floor pan. I think those came out pretty cool. Another fun detail are the seats. I'm still working on these before we put them in them, but probably put like a little wash on them, or maybe some pastel powders to highlight some of the edges. But these were just two-toned, masked with bare metal foil, and then that is simply red spark plug wire. Ran for the beading around to kind of finish the edges, and thought those came out pretty fun and sort of look GTO like. Everybody says that they're Mustang seats. They could be. They were 3D printed. They look modern. They fit the style. I mentioned I was going to put the stock console back in the Chevelle interior, and this is basically the kit console. In the kit, it is an automatic console, and so since this car is a 4-speed, I just took the shifter from the Chevelle and stuck it on there. And again, this is a wood grain decal that I applied in there, and it's just trimmed with some Revell Chrome paint. We had shown that we're going to be using the Model Car Garage 67 GTO Le Mans Tempest detail set for the MPC kit, not that. And so here it is. Basically you see two giant holes because we knew that the grill is already kind of going on. But if you look, I've kind of made a mess of it. And basically what this is the pre-coloring. So when you polish the paint off of this, and that was simply done with a Sharpie, one of these. And the red, I used some Tester's red. I don't like red Sharpies because they're kind of translucent. And so if you look close, the instrument panel piece has the brown on it because it will go in there. And there's all kinds of little details in here that it's going to bring this dash alive. So how do you clean this up? Basically what I use is a piece of 3200, maybe finer. We might finish it with some finer stuff, but this is kind of one of my old ones. And then you just kind of clean this off very lightly. Look what I did to that GTO dash piece. Got a little bit of touch up we got to do right in there, but that's not a problem. But that's going to look really good where it needs to go on the dash. And say like these little Hearst Equip badges, they're two-toned out, red and black. And what happens when you just give them a light rub? It's very important that the paint is very dry when you do this. Don't just rush this. I painted these several hours ago, so hopefully they're going to be dry enough. So what's happening? Oh, look, they look like the Hearst badges. And so when I do all these other ones, let's do a GTO. Let's do these big ones over here. I'm putting very light pressure on this because I don't want to wreck the rest of the parts on the tree. Yeah, it's taking a little bit longer. What do they look like? They are getting there. So these are going to look really cool once they're on the car. And this is going to be like way better than you could do with a Molotov pen, pre-foil, whatever other techniques are out there. You don't want to spend the money on a detail set. Well, if that's up to you, I'd rather spend a couple of dollars and have my emblems look like that. So let's get some of the stuff on the dash and see how this looks. So after painting and polishing all the photo etch, here's what you get. It really brings the GTO dashboard to life. I added a 3D printed steering wheel, and you can see the photo etched pedals and the heater controls, the radio, dash knobs, those all important keys in the ignition with the fob. And then I added the applique over the glove box door and scratch built a little pull handle. It's just out of the beading wire that I've got. And here you have that. That came out pretty cool. Let's start putting all this stuff together. And here's what it looks like together. I think it looks very GTO-like, with a little bit of a modern twist. I'm ready for this one to be done, and I believe if there's no catastrophes, it should be on the shelf before the end of the year, because I'm ready to start another group build. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.